Yes, call the member for.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Today I rise to speak about an issue that has significant impact on many people in my electorate and many more across New South Wales and Australia, Parkinson's disease. I acknowledge those in the gallery today who the Speaker was kind enough to welcome, who are part of an important advocacy campaign to improve the care of those living with Parkinson's disease and their families and carers. I know that many of those in the gallery have been closely involved with this issue, either as carers or friends and family members of people with the disease, and I'd like to recognise their admirable and tireless work. I'd particularly like to acknowledge one of my constituents, Susan Miles, who first raised with me the need for more Parkinson's disease nurse specialists. I also note the work of Parkinson's New South Wales, in particular the CEO, Miriam Dixon, in advocating for improved services and support. The Parkinson's Alliance also does great work in this area, a group of not-for-profit community-based organisations working together to provide vital information, counselling and support for those people living with the condition. Parkinson's disease is a chronic, progressive, incurable, disabling neurological condition which currently has no known cure. The 4 key symptoms are tremor, rigidity, slow or impaired muscle movement and postural instability, with many secondary symptoms. Those with Parkinson's disease experience significant disability and require increasing levels of care, with most living for about 12 years from diagnosis. 1 in every 350 Australians is affected by Parkinson's disease, with more than 30 people diagnosed with the disease every single day. More than 80,000 Australians have a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, with most aged between 50 and 60 years. It's important to note, however, that 10% of those diagnosed will be under the age of 40. The disease is more prevalent than prostate cancer, ovarian, cervical cancer or leukemia. Perhaps the most compelling statistic supporting the need for increased investment in services and support is the prevalence is increasing at around 2 to 3% per year. Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurological condition in Australia, affecting over 64,000 Australians, and this is expected to grow as our population ages. The estimated burden of the disease is valued at a massive $7.6 billion a year. However, despite its increasing prevalence and the high cost to the community, Parkinson's disease is still not recognised as a priority under Australia's chronic disease strategy. Today, Madam Temporary Speaker, I'd like to particularly highlight the urgent need for increased investment in Parkinson's nurses, and also the potential cost savings that New South Wales Health could make by employing a dedicated Parkinson's nurse for each Medicare local. The role of Parkinson's nurses is wide and varied. They are trained specifically to provide home support for the person affected by the condition, whilst also providing education and practical assistance for family carers. Parkinson's nurses can reduce visits to both GPs and overstretched neurology clinics by providing information over the telephone. Parkinson's New South Wales has funded such a nurse in the Shoalhaven for the last 2 years. However, this funding has not been ensured, and a public campaign has been actively lobbying for a permanent position. The UK has employed and trained Parkinson's nurses for their local health authorities, with significant cost savings to the health budget being reported. I've previously written to the Minister for Health highlighting the urgent need to invest in additional Parkinson's disease nurse specialists and to highlight the success of these nurses in both New South Wales and the United Kingdom. I also enclosed to the Minister the 2011 Deloitte report, Living with Parkinson's Disease, an update from Parkinson's Australia. The report is absolutely fascinating, and it highlights a key positive step for the future being funding for the education of specialist Parkinson's nurses and the significant positive impact that will have in this state. In 2011, there were just 33 specialist Parkinson's nurses, none of whom were funded by the Australian Government. This compared to 264 specialist nurses in the UK. The report also outlines the economic benefits related to Parkinson's disease nurse specialists. I'd like to again call on the Minister to review this issue and provide an updated response on the Government's position on the provision of Parkinson's disease nurse specialists, taking into particular account the financial argument for the nurses, along with the increasing prevalence of the disease. Finally, Madam Temporary Speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the many carers, the family members and advocates who dedicate their time and in fact their lives to improving the lives of those people living with Parkinson's, as well as their families and loved ones. The work of these advocates is truly valuable. They are making a genuine difference, and they are all to be congratulated. Thank you, Madam Temporary Speaker.
Thank you. Private member statements. I call the member for Ballina.
Might just respond.
In reply?
Just
the
briefly,
Minister in reply.
Could I just acknowledge the contribution of the member for Balmain in relation to Parkinson's disease, and acknowledge the significance of the issue that he raises. As he indicated, 30 Australians are diagnosed with Parkinson every day, and worryingly 10% of those are people under the age of 40. Can I just say to him, in view of the arguments he's put in, particularly in relation to the experience in the UK, and also the importance of Parkinson's nurses that he highlighted, that I will make sure that his comments are passed on to the Minister for Health in the hope that we'll be able to do more than we've been able to do in the past.